There is a voice inside you that speaks in silence, not with words, but with images, symbols, and shadows. It emerges in the stillness of night, when the conscious mind surrenders and the soul begins to whisper. That voice is the dream. And it does not lie. It reveals what you've buried, what you deny, what you fear to face in the daylight. It is the hidden language of the soul, raw, primal, uncompromising. Carl Jung once said, "Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes." But the irony is that it is often the dream itself that awakens us, because in our dreams, the unconscious no longer asks for permission to speak. It simply shows us the truth, the parts of ourselves we've exiled, the wounds we've ignored, the desires we've silenced. And behind every strange image, every terrifying nightmare, every recurring symbol, is a piece of ourselves begging to be seen. Dreams are not random. They are sacred. They are the psyche's last attempt to reach us before we drown in the noise of the outer world. But we are taught to ignore them, to call them nonsense, fantasy, irrelevant. And so we wake up and forget. We forget the message, we forget the meaning, we forget ourselves. But if you dare to listen, if you dare to turn inward, the dream will guide you. Not toward comfort, but toward wholeness. It will shatter your illusions and lead you into the depths. And in those depths, you will find the fragments of your soul, the forgotten, the wounded, the wild. This is where healing begins. Not by running from the dark, but by finally learning its language. The dream is not an escape, it is a doorway back to your truest self. It dreams as portals, messages from the depths within. Dreams are not just images that flicker across our minds in the dead of night. They are portals, portals into the uncharted, often terrifying terrain of our unconscious. Beneath every dream lies a message, cloaked in symbol and shadow, reaching out from the deepest parts of our psyche, not to entertain, but to awaken. These are not illusions, they are truths, fractured, distorted, but real. Dreams speak the language of the soul, a language we've forgotten in the noise and numbness of our waking lives. Carl Jung wrote, "Dreams are the guiding words of the soul. Why should I henceforth not love my dreams, and not make their riddling images into objects of my daily consideration?" And yet most of us wake up and run. We dismiss the nightmares, laugh off the strange symbols, and silence the fear. But dreams do not fade simply because we ignore them. They wait, and when they return louder, darker, more insistent. Because the unconscious does not forget. Dreams expose the battle within, the conflict between who we are and who we pretend to be. They drag to the surface the trauma we've buried, the guilt we suppress, the desires we're too afraid to admit. They are the soul's rebellion against repression. In dreams, your inner world no longer obeys the rules. You are no longer protected by logic, ego, or performance. You are stripped bare, face to face with the parts of yourself you've abandoned. And yet, this is the beginning of truth. The dream is a mirror. It reflects not who you show the world, but who you truly are. If you dare to enter that portal and feel its message, you may not come out the same. You may come out whole. The unconscious, the shadowed architect of your reality. There is a part of you that you do not see. It moves beneath the surface of every thought, every reaction, every desire. You do not control it, but it controls you. This is the unconscious, the shadowed architect of your reality. It is ancient, vast, and largely unknown, not because it is distant, but because you have chosen not to look. Carl Jung once said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." And this is the great tragedy of human existence, that we live ruled by forces we refuse to confront. We think we are choosing, but it is the buried wounds, the forgotten memories, the unhealed traumas, and the repressed instincts that truly shape our path. The unconscious is not evil, it is not your enemy, but it is wild, and what is wild unsettles the mind that clings to control. In its depths live the parts of yourself you've been taught to fear. Anger, grief, shame, lust, the primal urges that don't fit the polished version of you. So you exile them, you bury them deep. But they don't die, they grow stronger in silence. They erupt in projection, in rage at others that is really rage at yourself, in addiction, in avoidance, in self-sabotage. You feel lost, not because life is meaningless, but because you are divided inside. Your soul is split between the light you show and the shadow you suppress. To confront the unconscious is to face your own abyss. It is to meet the monster behind your mask and realize it is you. But only in that confrontation can you reclaim your power. You cannot build a true life on a false self. You must meet your darkness, or be ruled by it forever. Ills in dreams. The soul doesn't speak in words. Words dealing with lie. In the silence of the night, your soul speaks to you, not in the clarity of words, but in the cryptic, haunting language of symbols. Dreams are not mere fantasies. They are the psyche's deepest expressions, masked in images, colors, and metaphors. The soul does not speak in linear, rational thoughts. It speaks in shadows, symbols, and visions that only the heart can begin to understand. It is the language of the unconscious, and to hear it is to step beyond the comfort of your waking mind. Carl Jung once said, "The dream is the small hidden door in the innermost and most secret recesses of the soul, which opens to that which is not yet conscious, but has the potential to become conscious." Dreams speak to us not in simple truths, but in layered meanings, in symbols that resonate with our deepest fears, desires, and unacknowledged truths. A snake is not just a snake. A falling house is not just a house. Every image is a piece of the puzzle, a clue to the hidden parts of yourself that you've ignored or buried. The unconscious does not whisper gently. It shouts in images that demand to be felt, even if you don't yet understand them. And it is precisely this unknown, this ambiguity, that makes us uncomfortable. The mind wants certainty. It craves explanation. But the soul doesn't offer that. It only offers fragments of the truth, like a riddle wrapped in a mystery. And to truly know yourself, you must learn to listen, not with your mind, but with your entire being. Every symbol, every image, every dream is a reflection of the unconscious world within you. It is a mirror showing you parts of yourself you may not yet recognize, but desperately need to. And in this hidden language, you will find the answers you have been searching for, if only you dare to decode the message. The shadow self. What you refuse to see rules you. There is a part of you that you fear to acknowledge, the part that makes you recoil when you glimpse it in the reflection of your own soul. The anger, the lust, the envy, the bitterness, the flaws you dare not admit. This part of you is not your enemy, but it is your shadow, and what you refuse to see within it will rule you from the dark. Carl Jung's haunting truth echoes in the chambers of your psyche. One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious. The shadow is not some distant force that you can avoid. It is you, fragmented, rejected, and pushed away. It is the side of yourself that you keep hidden, convinced that if the world saw it, it would break you. But the more you hide it, the more it takes control. The anger you deny will emerge in passive-aggressive behavior. The desires you refuse to face will erupt in obsession. The grief you suppress will bleed through in moments of unexpected despair. The irony of the shadow is that it cannot be banished. It only grows stronger in your refusal to confront it. It is the part of you that sees the world through a distorted lens, not because it is evil, but because it is untamed, ignored, misunderstood. The shadow does not leave you. It follows you, growing in its silent power until it bursts through the cracks of your perfect facade. To embrace your shadow is to surrender control, to step into the terrifying unknown of your own psyche. But only then Can you reclaim the fragments of yourself that have been locked away? Until you face your darkness, it will haunt you, shape you, and dictate your choices. The soul that remains unintegrated is not whole. It is a battlefield. Nightmares, truths too painful for the daylight. Nightmares are not random terrors that vanish with the dawn. They are the soul's most desperate scream, the only way the unconscious can force you to see what you refuse to acknowledge. In the darkness of night, when your guard is down and your mind surrenders, the deepest truths, the ones too unbearable to face, surface in their rawest form. They are not mere dreams. They are revelations wrapped in fear. Carl Jung warned, "The dream is the small hidden door in the innermost and most secret recesses of the soul, and sometimes it is through nightmares that the soul forces you to enter." A nightmare is not just an image of terror, it is the manifestation of your most unheeded pain. The grief you have buried, the guilt you have ignored, the fears you've outrun. It is the face of everything you cannot bear to see in the light of day. And so it rises in the night, as a monster, a flood, a scream, relentlessly clawing at your soul until you face it. These nightmares are not only echoes of your past, they are warnings. They are the soul's last attempt to bring you back to reality before you drown in your illusions. In their darkness, they are telling you what you refuse to admit, that you are broken, that you have been lying to yourself, that the path you are on is one of self-destruction. To dismiss them is to dishonor the wisdom they bring. To face them is to face yourself in your most raw, unprotected form. And in that confrontation lies the possibility of transformation, if you have the courage to accept the truths they reveal. Nightmares are not your enemy. They are the soul's desperate cry to be seen, to be heard, to be healed. Recurring dreams, the psyche's cry for attention. There is a haunting rhythm in the night that will not let you escape. The same dream, the same image, the same suffocating feeling returns to you again and again, relentless, insistent, and impossible to ignore. It is as if the universe is demanding your attention, but you cannot hear it in the waking world, so it speaks through the dark corners of your mind. Recurring dreams are not random fragments of sleep. They are the psyche's cry for recognition. Carl Jung said, "The dream is the drama of the unconscious. It is the soul's attempt to bring itself into consciousness, and when the same dream reappears, it is the soul's most desperate attempt to force you to listen." A recurring dream is not just a disturbance. It is a warning, a plea, an invitation to confront the parts of yourself that you've avoided. It might be a face you cannot place, a place you cannot escape, or an emotion you cannot understand. But it always leaves you disturbed, unsettled, as if something is unresolved, unfinished, a question that lingers with no answer. And in your waking life, you turn away from it, you bury it, you pretend you don't need to listen. But the dream does not care. It will return, each time more persistent, more intense, until you finally face what lies beneath. You cannot escape what is within you. The psyche is not interested in your convenience. It wants healing. And in the shadows of these recurring dreams lie the fragments of your soul you've discarded, the unresolved fears, the buried traumas, the suppressed desire. To ignore them is to remain divided, fragmented. To face them is to begin the slow, painful process of integration. The dream repeats because you refuse to see. Only when you listen will you find peace. The recurring dream is not a curse, it is the key to your awakening. Individuation. When dreams begin to heal the soul. Individuation is not a destination, it is the journey through the darkest corridors of your soul. It is the painful, agonizing process of becoming whole again, a process that often begins with the dreams you've spent years avoiding. Carl Jung described individuation as the integration of the unconscious into the conscious personality. But this integration is not gentle. It is not clean. It is violent. It tears you apart, only to piece you back together in a form you no longer recognize. As you begin to walk the path of individuation, the dreams come alive. They no longer serve as mere reflections of your fractured psyche. They become your guides. They carry you through the ruins of your past, leading you to confront the wounds, the shame, the terror that have been buried too long. The images you once feared, the monsters, the shadows, the unknown figures begin to transform. They are no longer your enemies. They are the disowned parts of yourself, reaching out for acknowledgement. The painful truth is this: the parts of you that you have cast aside, the parts that you have denied, are the very pieces that hold the key to your healing. In the beginning, the dreams will terrify you. They will show you everything you do not want to face: the child you abandoned, the rage you buried, the innocence you lost. But this is where healing begins, not in the avoidance, but in the confrontation. To embrace the dreams that come with individuation is to embrace the broken parts of yourself. It is to heal by integrating your shadow, your trauma, your fears. Individuation is the ultimate act of surrender, to allow the unconscious to guide you, no matter how dark or painful the journey may be. Only through this process can you become who you were always meant to be: whole, authentic, and unapologetically yourself. Dreams as warnings, guides, and invitations to awaken. Dreams are not mere illusions to be discarded with the morning light. They are ancient messengers steeped in the deep waters of your unconscious, trying to pull you from the shallow comfort of your waking life and into the jagged, painful truth of who you truly are. Carl Jung once said, "Your vision will become clear only when you can look into your own heart." Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. And it is through these dark, cryptic dreams that the soul invites you to look inward, to face what you've buried in the shadows, to awaken to the truths you've ignored. But dreams do not come gently. They do not offer you comfort or reassurance. They are not kind. They are urgent, like the deep, desperate cry of your soul trying to reach you. They are warnings of paths you are about to take, or perhaps already walking, that will lead you further away from yourself and show you what is coming, what will tear you apart if you do not listen. And they are guides. Dreams hold the wisdom of 1,000 lifetimes. They are the hidden map to your soul's deepest desires, wounds, and strengths. They push you toward what you have avoided, urging you to confront your fear, your pain, your darkness. You may wish to run, but the dream follows. It grows louder, darker, more insistent. But beyond the warning, beyond the guidance, dreams are invitations. Invitations to awaken, to break free from the prison of your illusions, to shed the mask you wear, to see yourself as you truly are. They invite you to stop lying to yourself, to stop hiding in the dark corners of your own mind. Dreams are the soul's most raw and honest voice. Listen to them, or remain asleep forever. Conclusion. The dream is the voice of the forgotten self. When the sun rises, it often feels like the world is waking, but in truth it is the soul that rises with the dawn. And the dreams you left behind in the night, the ones you shoved under the weight of your conscious life, are not gone. They linger in the recesses of your mind, waiting for a chance to speak. Carl Jung once said, "The dream is the little hidden door in the innermost and most secret recesses of the soul, which opens to that cosmic night that was soul before the existence of the conscious ego." In this quiet, forgotten space, dreams are not mere fantasy. They are the voice of the forgotten self, the parts of you that have been abandoned, ignored, or repressed. These forgotten parts of you, the child who was hurt, the desires you denied, the rage you've buried, all have a story to tell, but they are silent in the daylight, hidden beneath the layers of roles, masks, and expectations you wear. It is only in the darkness of dreams that they come to life, shaking you awake with their intensity, forcing you to confront what you've long avoided. They speak in symbols, in emotions too raw to speak in words. Their language is not for the faint of heart. But for those who are brave enough to hear it, the dream, then, is not just a fleeting image of the unconscious. It is the echo of everything you've left behind in your search for survival. It is the soul's desperate plea to be seen, to be reclaimed. And only when you answer this call, when you stop running from the darkness, will you begin to truly awaken. The dream is the voice of the forgotten self, calling you home, to the parts of you that make you whole. Only in that reunion can you heal. Only then can you live fully.